Welcome to the Explainer. There's a parable that has confused people for, well, centuries. It's the story about a dishonest manager who actually gets praised for it. Today, we're going to break down a sermon that unpacks this whole thing, and it reveals some seriously shrewd wisdom about money, faith, and your future.
So this is the big question, right? The central puzzle. You've got a guy who is clearly corrupt. He's been wasting his boss's money. And yet, somehow, he's held up as an example of wisdom. I mean, that seems completely backward. So how on earth can that be? Well, the answer is way more subtle and brilliant than you might think.
So, to crack this mystery, here's how we're going to do it. We'll walk through the story, break down the manager's really clever plan, and see how it all leads to this powerful choice and, believe it or not, 3 simple rules for handling your own stuff. Okay, let's dive right into the parable at the heart of all this. So the scene opens with a total crisis. There's this wealthy man who has a manager, a steward, who's in charge of all his financial accounts. But, word gets back to the boss that this manager is squandering his assets. So the boss calls him in and just drops the hammer. Pack your things, you're done. Just like that, the manager is facing complete ruin. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The key to unlocking this whole parable, according to the sermon, lies in understanding 2 very different mindsets, 2 types of people. The parable draws this really sharp line in the sand. On one side, you have the sons of this age. These are your worldly people. They're savvy, they're clever with money, their master is a human boss. But on the other side, you've got the sons of light. These are heavenly-minded people, and their master is God. But here's the kicker. They are often less shrewd when it comes to handling worldly resources. Okay, so let's get back to our guy, the steward. He's facing unemployment, he's a classic son of this age, and he doesn't just panic. Nope. He strategizes, and he comes up with a pretty brilliant plan to save himself. The guy is just brutally honest with himself. He thinks, look, I'm not cut out for manual labor, and my pride won't let me beg. His options are really limited. He gets that he has a tiny little window of opportunity, while he still technically holds the title of manager, to make a move. He's got to act, and he's got to act fast. So he puts his plan into motion immediately. He calls in everyone who owes his master money. To the guy who owes 100 barrels of oil, he says, hey, quick, change the bill, make it 50. To another guy, your bill, make it 80. See what he's doing? He's using his final moments of authority to create a network of people who will now owe him a favor. He's securing his future. And here's the part that just blows everyone's mind. When his boss finds out what he did, he doesn't get angry, he praises the manager. Now, let's be clear, he's not praising the dishonesty. He's praising the shrewdness, the foresight. He's actually impressed that the manager used the resources he had in the present to guarantee his well-being in the future. Okay, so to really get why the boss reacted that way, we have to decode a key term from the parable that often trips people up. It's this idea of unrighteous wealth. So unrighteous wealth doesn't mean the money was stolen or that it's inherently evil. Nope. It simply means worldly money, the currency, the resources that operate by the rules of this age. It's the kind of wealth that the sons of this age are total experts in handling. And here's the crucial point. Money is just a neutral tool. It's not dirty, it's not clean, it's not good, it's not evil. Its moral value is determined entirely by the hands that use it and the purpose it's being used for. So all this brings us to the core challenge of the parable, which is really a question of loyalty. It's not just about being clever with your stuff. It's about where you place your ultimate trust. To kind of paint a picture of this, imagine a father coming home from a long day at work, and he's brought a special snack for his child. At first, the kid is just overjoyed to see him. So at first, it's all hugs and, thank you, Dad, thank you. But then, as soon as that snack is in the kid's hands, they run off to their room, totally absorbed in it, and the father's just left standing there, which leads to this fundamental question. Who does the child really love more, the giver or the gift? And that's the danger, right? The gift, the money, the wealth, the stuff, can become so captivating that we completely forget the one who provided it. The tool becomes the master, and you can't serve both God and mammon, the giver and the gift. So what's the big takeaway here? I mean, what are we supposed to do with this? Well, the point isn't to be dishonest. The challenge is for the sons of light to be just as shrewd with their resources for an eternal purpose as worldly people are for their temporary, earthly one. And this whole idea can be broken down into 3 super practical rules.
It's a simple but really powerful framework. First, you have to earn it. You got to work hard, create value. Second, you save it. Don't be wasteful, be a wise steward of what you have. And third, once you've earned and saved, you give it away. You use those resources strategically and generously to build something that's actually going to last.
This all flows from this core principle of stewardship. It's the idea that, hey, everything you have is ultimately a gift anyway. And the instruction is really practical. First, yeah, take care of your own needs, but then use what's left over to generously invest in other people. The way you handle worldly money actually becomes a test. It proves whether you can be trusted with the true, lasting riches of the Spirit.
So in the end, this really confusing parable delivers a pretty powerful challenge. Just like that shrewd manager used his master's resources to secure his future, we're all being called to use the resources we've been given to secure an eternal one. And that leaves us with a final question to really think about. If your money and all your resources are just a tool, what are you building with them?